hearing us or seeing us. I know there's no talking, no questions asked, but, we'll just take it. I'll let you raise your hand about the Zoom right now, if we have it. So we're gonna get started. Lori will start with the resolutions that we need to put in our, forward for next meeting. So call the meeting order on full roll. Please rise and salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Lewandowski, Councilman Fazio. Here. Councilman Niles. Here.
Here.
I call it that.
These are resolutions, some are absolutely needed, and some are things of interest that we don't know. Resolution pay bills, and should abstract. And the resolution to accept minutes and also those in for the agenda, for that meeting. Resolution to reappoint Kyle McCann to the planning board for a 7-year term. We did appoint him on organizational day, but Kyle was still, did not get in within the 30 days to sign the oath of commission appointment. And, we'll get him on Wednesday of next week. A resolution regarding the drug testing for non-CDL drivers. Colleen has provided you all with that information via email. Possible resolution to schedule interviews for planning and zoning board appeals, interested parties, that all of those interested party letters are in your packet. Possible resolution to renumber the local law number 2 of 2021 to make it local law number 1 of 2022. And Attorney Charles speak on that. Resolution from the water board regarding the four-zone bill and property in the Hudson Road Water District. A resolution to allow water operations to Dickinson on weekends at time and a half. Resolution for Councilman Niles to be the coordinator for the comprehensive water task force committee. Some of these might not be us. A resolution authorizing the lease of a portion of property on Reed Park Road to Pineville Association. That did not get put on the agenda at the last meeting. But Attorney Pro had already provided all that information. Partly discussion and possible resolution before American Rescue Act, Supervisor Marina will speak on that. And then, Tom Reed had asked to be put on the agenda for March 14th. And we have my resignation letter for the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals Secretary position. And we would like to maybe, Cindy and I were talking about this, and Jean as well. Maybe designate one person that will take any information from the meeting that's talk about the piece on the website, and have one person responsible for getting that to Jamie, so that there's no confusion as to who's going to give her information and who's not. And I'd be willing to take on if we want to. And then Wilder talked to the team, and she'd like to continue the advance the program. Melissa was in our office today. We need to replace Jack Fazio on the Board of Assessment Review, and we need to do that no later than April 11th to allow for training on April 20th, because Freedom Day is in May. And then I had Marquis half-mile water billing information, so that you guys know that I was working with you. Also, something on that, to put that in the old archives for the older billing. Yeah, it's Marquee, the red house, the girl house, that whole thing we were talking about. And that's kind of what we come up with now, and what else we got.
Anyone discussing these, can't look at it, right. We have, here with us, Dominic from Aqualogics. He wants to talk to us about, the program and his contract. So we're giving it the floor. You should be able to see him because it's in front of the. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dominic. I'm the owner and dive instructor for Aqualogic. We're a company based out of Chestertown, New York. I'm here to answer any questions in regard to our bid to work on Lake Luzerne for 60 harvesting days this season to manage the Eurasian water milfoil infestation that has been taking over the lake using suction harvesting services. So I'm here to answer any questions. We have a bid of $84,000 at $1,400 a day. We're requesting 20% down on that. It is a service-based contract, and we do have to pay our employees. We do have the best divers in the state and in the Northeast. We span from New Hampshire to New York, and we work on a number of water bodies here in upstate New York. We've worked on Lake Luzerne from 2017 to 2021. In the years 2018 to 2021, we conducted a boat build program that saved the town of Lake Luzerne taxpayers $175,000 in comparison to our competitors' pricing. We kept the cost below the grant amount that the town of Lake Luzerne received on an annual basis. So we made it so the town of Lake Luzerne taxpayers did not have to spend a penny on milfoil harvesting services. We have third-party analysis that states that our harvesting is top quality, including the permitting agency, the APA. The boat build project was an extreme success, but it needs to come to a close. We offered to buy the boat, and we will not be working on the boat in the future. So if anybody has any questions, I would love to answer them.
Questions?
Yeah, $175,000 is a lot of money that we could have used in our company. So I do believe a little bit of gratitude would be appreciated on behalf of our hard work. We have spent over 1,000 hours under the water in Lake Luzerne, a total of 173.5 days of work on Lake Luzerne. We have had a few incidents. This is on the lake where we've had some equipment stolen at no cost to the town. We've inherited all of those costs ourselves. We are asking that the town is a little bit more close with how they watch the boat and the equipment as it is there on the lake, but we're not too concerned about it. We do love the town of Lake Luzerne. We've made a significant impact on the town. I just wanted to reiterate that we've had two third-party analysis stating the quality of our work. And between that and the immense savings that the town of Lake Luzerne has had with the boat build project, it has been a huge success.
Do you have some questions for me?
Yep. Yes. Yes.
And the next week we get another from you where you said, okay, you want to use the boat that they sold to.
Yes.
This boat that you run inside the boat is great, but everything is so up and up. Why would you not be willing to do it?
There's a few reasons on that. Number one, we've received no gratification from the town, no gratitude at all with regard to our boat build project. We've had a few articles in the Post-Star that have made some implications on where that boat came from that have hurt the reputation of our business. The savings have not been talked about at the town at all, so it hasn't made me feel too good for the amount of money that we could have made off of the project. We wanted to work so that we would save the taxpayers money. The hesitation on behalf of the board to accept our bid to work on the boat, you did have more than a month, I believe, to pick our bid. And if you've seen the show Deal or No Deal, hesitation costs money. So the hesitation on behalf of the board to pick our bid is why we decided to remove that bid. And those are my two answers to that question. I believe that actually Aqualogic suffered retribution and punishment on behalf of the town. It's not personal, it's business. So I'd ask that the personal be taken out of it.
The increase, not
Yes. Close to it. 84. $300 a day. It's 1,100 versus 1,400. 1,100 to work off the town of Lake Luzerne boat, 1,400 to work off of our own. Yes, I could take a look.
Just a quick interruption. Marianne, you put your hand up because you can't hear us? Carry on.
Hi, I can hear the man from Aqualogic loud and clear, but the rest of you, when you're speaking, I don't know if if you're on laptops and you're not close enough to the laptop microphone, but it's coming through completely muffled. I can't hear any of it.
Thank you. Can you hear me
Thank you.
now?
No, it still sounds garbled.
Wow. Speaking loud. A lot of the hands are going up. Hate to interrupt. Let's finish with Aqualogic, then I'll take a break and we'll talk to all the people that have some problem.
So
We can figure this out.
I'd like to clarify the question of Paul Lewandowski. The cost difference between the bid to work on the town boat versus our own is $300, not $500. Per day, yes. Yep.
Based on 60 days, equates to 66,000 versus 84,000.
Yes, yes. So you're looking at an $18,000 difference to work off of our own equipment.
Let me ask you this. Straightforward.
Yes, I enjoy it.
We had some issues with the boat, questions, issues.
Mhm.
Problem. I called your office. Nobody said anything that you just said. All I was told is you're going to lawyer. We don't keep good records, and I'm not telling you anything more on the phone.
Yes.
So you tell me how we're supposed to feel about that, and how we're supposed to react. That will allow us to have a long term deal about everything.
So if I can answer that question. First of all, I'd like to apologize if that's how that conversation went. I was not there for that conversation, so I could only read about it in the paper, the jaw-dropping comments made to the Post-Star. That may have had some fallout from the previous articles put in the Post-Star. There was a little bit of... Yep. Yeah, so I wasn't there for that phone call, so I can't comment on that. I wasn't there for the conversation. I don't know how it went. Becky did tell me about it. She said that the town board was very rude in their conversation, and that's how she took that conversation. If you had asked me about it last year, I would have given you that exact explanation. And you have had my phone number. Gene Merlino has my phone number. If you wanted to contact me directly, you could have called me directly. But you didn't talk to me, and I didn't answer that question for you a year ago. Yes, so she isn't the representative of my company any longer. Yeah. Well, she was last year, but she's not any longer. I told you you have a direct line to me, and that's why I'm here.
On Saturday, but you still want our taxpayers to pay the price by not using the vote.
No, you want the taxpayers to pay the price for the lack of gratitude that we had during the boat build project. It was a major success, and instead of pointing that out last year, you focused on all the wrong parts. You listened to disgruntled retired employees instead of listening to your contractor who has third-party analysis stating the quality of our work. I've been under that lake more than anybody in the entire state of New York. So I think my opinion matters.
February 26th. You sent an email out to us, stating that myself and Dan Moore, I was going to see item for this vote.
I sent a correction to that email.
Pardon?
I sent a follow-up email with a correction to that. Yeah, yes, I did. Stating that I gifted the boat to Gene Merlino at a town hall. And I've stated exactly how you'd be able to receive your own title for the boat.
Okay, the time you signed that photo to Gene, okay, what did
Hold on one moment.
you, at that time, that vote, the city was correct, barge or?
Multi-hull work barge dash diver assisted suction harvester, yes.
Okay.
We provided Gene Merlino with a transferable registration. In the state of New York, that proves ownership over the boat.
You gave him a registration for that boat.
I did. That you don't need a title for a used pontoon boat. I don't.
You don't.
But I know that a multitude of our pontoon boats are built in the 1980s. Nobody constructs a suction harvesting boat for sale. We retrofit old pontoon boats. And so very little actually identifies it to the original hull identification. There is no manufacturer of a suction harvesting boat. It's not a big enough industry. It's a relatively new industry. So we work with what we have.
So the day of the paperwork that you made the trade.
There was no trade. The boat that we were given to work on from the town of Lake Luzerne was garbage, and so we gave you a boat
And where is that from?
in the garbage. It sank.
In cent,
It sank.
after us putting $15,000.
The equipment you still have, the $15,000 worth of equipment you have in your garage. The pontoon boat that was given to you by a retired ex-employee was not sufficient to do the job. The pontoons were very small, and they did not hold the equipment. The boat motor also leaked into the town of the Lake Luzerne, a lot of oil. So between the leaking oil and the small pontoons, that employee set you up for failure. So what I did is I gifted the town a 24-foot pontoon boat with big pontoons on it so that the town of Lake Luzerne would have a sufficient pontoon barge that we could work off of. Why did I do that? Because I love the town of Lake Luzerne.
So that boat is no longer been dismantled.
It's gone, garbage.
So why would Supervisor Leo tell us countless times that you traded that boat?
Well, hold on, I'd like to interject. It was miscommunication. It was miscommunication. And he may have been under the impression that that had happened. But what I guaranteed the town is we would do whatever it took to make sure that the milfoil was removed from the lake. And I apologize for any miscommunication on that.
Last year, a year ago, because you didn't work last year, but during the course of that spring, you suggested we went from a 4-inch suction situation to a 3-inch suction situation.
Yes.
We spent
$5,000 out of it. And now we've got a bunch of equipment that we can't even use because you. After you just spent all that time and everything, retrofitting that boat. Is that correct?
That is correct. I did offer to buy the boat.
We sell a boat if we don't have technically a registration in our hand. We don't know where it is. And we have no way, present time, to get a registration because somebody has taken the serial numbers off that boat. So we can't even file a lost registration or anything on the boat we presently own. Is that correct, sir?
That is not correct. The boat registration was given to the town of Lake Luzerne. The town of Lake Luzerne has the boat registration for that boat. And so you should be able to get a title for the boat.
We do not have that registration because the numbers that I have and pictures that were taken at where it was on that boat. When we stood on that, down at the town garage, okay, there was a sticker on that boat at that time. The numbers that are on that sticker do not match the registration that was given. But that is the registration that was given. Mr. Marino tried registering that. We took the time to take that registration down to that boat and match it with the numbers and it did not match.
It sounds like you are shooting yourself in the foot to spite your face. The thing is, you know, this can be as complicated as you want to make it, but the reality is the town of Lake Luzerne, the taxpayers have saved $175,000. You have a fully functional suction harvesting boat. Well, you know, I didn't, this conversation didn't happen. And, you know, maybe if it did, maybe it would have gone a different way.
When should that happen?
I sent you a bid. Within the same day that I received the bid request in the mail, I sent an email off to Jim and Jean, and then I sent that in the mail very quickly. I enjoy quick responses. I like to be wanted. And clearly the town of Lake Luzerne didn't want that deal, so the deal was removed from the table.
Who was the person that made that indication?
The lack of quick response on behalf of the town. My clients respond very quickly to work with me. As you can see from the bidding process, not many people do this type of job. And to do it at such a fair rate, at $500 to $600 a day, is quite bizarre. To do it at such a high quality, I don't think that the town of Lake Luzerne understood the good deal that you were getting. And so perhaps to allow for you to feel the good deal that you were getting, perhaps you should pay fair market price for this work.
At the same time, you feel that the town did dishonor to you. That's what you're claiming, correct?
I don't have any feelings. I feel as if you know, I would like to be charged a full market value for my services because I feel like our services deserve that. And if you were to get a good deal, you should be grateful for it. And the taxpayer should be grateful, and they should be grateful to.
And I should be having a great deal with mine was bought out over a year ago and just recently again. And you say that the town has slandered you in some respects over this vote, but that gives you the right to come back at myself. How do you figure that, sir?
I didn't come back at you personally. I didn't mention your name. I did not mention your name. Somebody came down and was uncordial to our divers who worked very hard doing a job that I don't think anybody in this room would do. To harvest invasive aquatic plants, pulling milfoil, it's not an easy job. It takes a lot of work. Many of our clients come out with cookies. They come out with coffee. They come out, tell our guys, good job. Not, what are you doing here? Not making claims that our guys are not showing up on time, asking that a contractor should punch in a clock and punch out on a clock. When our kayaks are walking off the boat, you can watch our employees and take notes of the times that they show up and that they leave, but you can't see the guy walking off with our $1,000 kayak or our $500 of fuel.
If I had seen that happening, sir, I would have notified the police immediately.
I wish you had.
Okay, at the same time, as being a person that works on job sites, I lock my equipment up. That is not my fault or anybody's fault that your men will leave certain equipment not secured along with a kayak, that you're saying, or whatever, I don't know why that should come back from the town or me personally.
I did not bill you for that. I owned that and I made sure my guys locked the equipment up after that. So I just wanted to state that if you're gonna watch my guys and monitor when they show up and when they leave, then you should monitor when our equipment shows up and when it leaves as well. That would be appreciated.
Well, I would like to see if we can negotiate between the bills that are definitely due, so it's there, ready to go. A lot of stuff over it. I put it under the hood. I think Don would even want to buy it. Just to buy it.
Well, the one thing you can't sell. Yes, I'm sorry.
We'll put up the circle. So you can't sell the book.
I've never got a shirt that you would never get what you could save.
Well, like that,
It's just about $18,000 for the store. So what do we do with that 18 this year, 18 next year, 18 years? How much do we sell it for? Scrap. Nobody else is-
that's up to us. I'd like to renegotiate, and maybe we can make them happy and we be happy. I think, I agree with the gentleman here that we're being penalized unfairly. And I'd like to see that either be compromised or of course, with the other company was, we have money to take care of it, but at the end, it's just gonna go back to more and more money.
And the lake is going to continue to have milfoil. The reason why we kept it below the grant cost is because we understand the growth cycle of milfoil and the continuous cost on towns. We give out grants to lakes. We gave out a $15,000 grant to Paradox Lake Association last season. They put a very nice article in the paper talking about it. I appreciated that.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I mean, you know, we can get along, but I do not totally agree with you, you know. I'd like to compliment. I just would like to maybe leave here now and think about it. And, we need a team. You're a team that has it. We can't hurt people in the town.
I agree with that. And I believe I was able to come here and say what I needed to be said. If we were able to bring a compromise and maybe relook at that bid to work on the town of Lake Luzerne boat, I do think that our issues that I brought to the table should be addressed. One being the publicity. I believe that the articles that have been written in the paper have not been fair to us, and all of the hard work and the hard blood, sweat, and tears we put into the work, the 1,000 hours of harvesting, the $175,000 saved. I don't believe that has been respected. And I do not want to make the town taxpayers pay for that. That is not my objective. But it is to expose, my objective is to expose the lack of gratitude on behalf of some of these board members and the lack of understanding of the savings that the town taxpayers have had over the course of the 3 years that we've worked, because not a single town, not a single lake association has saved as much as the town of Lake Luzerne. And nobody in the state has gotten the quality of harvesting that the town of Lake Luzerne has had. And while milfoil is a very difficult battle and will continue to hurt the recreation in the lake, it is our #1 goal to provide the highest quality services at the best rate possible, while also using integrated lake management. I've encouraged Solitude Lake Management, Glenn Sullivan, to reach out to you to work on completing a Priscilla core treatment on the lake, because I know that there's a need for it. This type of insight and this type of care you do not get from contractors. I care about your lake very much. I live in New York State. I pay over $25,000 annually in property taxes. I bring young college students from around the United States and Canada to my program, and this is what I do for a living. the most important thing that my clients need to recognize is that I am the expert in what I do. And these questions that have come up, air consumption, time clocks, the quality of our work, the numbers of gallons or the numbers of pounds that we've harvested, they do not reflect that that feeling of expertise in myself that I would expect from a client. I'm not going to work for somebody that knows more than me because I know how to do my job. I know how long my divers can last on a tank. I know when they should and shouldn't show up. I know how much milfoil they can pull in a day, and that's important to me. But when a client thinks that they know more than I do, then there's no longer a relationship between us that needs to be had. I am the expert in this field, and that needs to be understood and that needs to be respected. I have over a decade of experience. I'm a PADI weed control instructor. I teach people how to scuba dive. I have the first in the nation internship program in upstate New York, and our divers have made tremendous impact on water bodies here in New York State and New Hampshire. And as I said, nobody's gotten the deal that Lake Luzerne has gotten, and nobody's given me as little gratitude as the town of Lake Luzerne has given me. I charge, yeah. Yes.
I can't tell the county what to do, what not to do there. I have to worry about the taxpayers and what I have to worry. So what I'm asking is we end this conversation. Think about a couple of days. If Miles is following and I'm not even getting a problem. Get back together, gentlemen, and maybe we can come up with a compromise. And keep that smiling and go back to the.
I do have a couple other ways, some support for Aqualad in terms of the quality of their harvest. But I can somewhat attest to that. Secondly, I can somewhat attest to quality of the harvesting in Lake Luzerne. Specifically when they're in a freshwater that they're analysis last fall inventory. They were surprised that even though after a complete season, our lake is still good. So that is a testimony of the archaeological harvest capability. If you guys don't mind, I'd love to hear from the lake system. They have those names. Howard's here, with other people on the line. Are you all right with that, Gene?
I'm fine with that.
Let the online folks go first.
Right now we're just talking about discussing Joel. So, I don't know who's on. You want to speak?
Yeah.
Howard, please.
Let me come over by the mic so everybody can hear what you're saying.
Thank you. And, we've been following this for a while. How's the volume on this? A little further away. Okay. Okay, test 1, 2. Since 2003, the town of Lake Luzerne and the Lake Luzerne Association, and for those who care about the lake, have worked harmoniously for the past 18 years to address the increasingly problematic milfoil problem and invasive species problem that we have here in Lake Luzerne and in our watershed. And we're now at a critical moment. We will be needing permission from the Adirondack Park Agency in the not too distant future if we decide to use Procelicor. And our understanding is that for Procelicor to even be considered by the Adirondack Park Agency to give permission for use, there is a period of 5 years from the latest treatment. So what we'd want to ask you to consider is this, is if we were to go for a second consecutive year with no treatment, the earliest we could use Procelicor is in the year 2027. Now, between now and then, we will lose out on countless invasive species grants. Between now and the year 2027, milfoil will grow exponentially out of control. Property values will start to quickly decrease. And the problems that we now have in finding a contract are going to be small compared to the problems that the town will be dealing with down the road, resulting from a lack of treatment. So we hope that the town board with our association working in conjunction can address this forward in a way that can help us all to resolve harmoniously, I'll use that word again, so that we could address our invasive species problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, like I said, we'll go on and talk about this. I'll ask Dominic, are you willing to compromise? And I'll ask the board members if they could put some of the stuff aside, seems like you know, put some of the stuff aside. Let's come back to the middle and get this out there. That's all.
Would I be able to have a couple days to think about this and get back to the town?
We need to know by next.
By next. Yes. Yes, I will. I'll send you an email. I'll make my decision before next Monday. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for
Yes.
Hey, Chris, can you go where everybody's been? Overall. Then we'll ask anybody who just wants to ask about milfoil, any questions for Dominic to raise their hand again.
All right, we're gonna let anybody out in the audience to raise their hand, just speaking about milfoil. And we'd like maybe a quick opinion, we won't let you talk too long, but raise your hand and we'll try to call on. All right, Fred Zubel. Freddie, you there? Make sure you're unmuted.
You're not unmuted.
Am I on?
Yep.
Okay, the question I have, we can't hear a thing about what's going on with this milfoil, only from the man at the podium. As far as the town board goes, it's 100% zero conversation to us people.
So you can't hear me either? Fred,
Yes,
can you hear me?
what's the question? I still can't understand the word you're saying.
Everything is mumbled, Gene. We can't hear a word you people are saying up on the board. Lori, I can't hear a word she's saying. I don't know if you're not talking into your mics
Are
or,
you still on?
No.
I don't know.
Right down by the speaker. No.
The speaker at the podium was clear as the bell.
I'm gonna start the whole meeting
No.
over. Are we still on?
Fred is asking if he's still on.
Yeah, you're still on, Fred. We're just trying to figure out what the problem is.
Okay, what's gonna have to happen? You're gonna have to start your meeting over because we, the taxpayers, have no idea what you're saying. So start your meeting over so we can hear you.
Two-stroke motor spit oil on the tower. Yes, yes, okay. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
If anybody can hear it, just hold on. They're working on it right now.
Well, start your meeting over.
What was that, Fred?
Start your meeting over.
There's no point if it doesn't work.
The only person that's legible is the podium.
Nobody can hear anything. Hold on. That may be better.
the years I worked here, I paid close attention to the Millway project.
What are they
Communication
doing?
drivers, personally drove the boat. At times, yes, they did a good job. Paul can vouch at the end, no, they weren't showing up. And now if you were, if some man was going to come to me with that pitch.
What are they talking?
I don't know.
And he backs with it, why is he backing you in the quarantine right now? I know why. Why? It's not calm down, for him to pitch that crap. My God, you make a hell of a car salesman.
Just for the record, Glenn was the gentleman who told the Post-Star that he believed the boat was stolen. He lives in a world of conspiracies. And this is the gentleman.
Uh-oh.
No, it actually, if you look up the Post-Star article, it will say Glenn's name in it with that.
Glenn never reported nothing to nobody.
Well,
This doesn't get this anywhere. Okay.
and this will impact my choice because I cannot, with a gentleman like this coming and speaking his mind freely like he is, but impacting the decision of the board, it's very difficult to have a good relationship.
The next bidder is $105,000.
And we've saved 175,000.
You know, the milk.
I'm just getting that.
But the milk will
Yeah.
has been corrected dramatically, but that's over a long amount of time. Now, my opinion is, you don't need time harvesting. Cut that money in half, hire somebody else, and get him out of here. Don't bow to him. You gotta be kidding me. That's an insult to the taxpayer.
Paul's shaking his head, yes.
Let us know.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for your time.
Appreciate you coming in.
He's leaving.
Yeah.
All right, we're back to the regular meeting now. I apologize, we can't hear you guys, or you can't hear us. I just don't know what, we've tried hard. We've got some of the best technology we tried. Now, let's get loud. Can you hear me, Fred? Bob, Sheila, you got your hand up, would you hear us? Bob,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, go ahead.
I tried to listen to the workshop meeting and it was impossible to hear anything you said. I could hear Colleen very plainly, but that was it. I could not hear you.
All right, let's hold it, let's hold it. I'm sorry, Bob, we can't even hear you.
Just from listening to the conversation, the one part of it I could hear, there was a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of information that you're not aware of. Can you hear me?
Barely, Bob.
Yeah, well, that's the way that I can't hear a thing you're saying. It's terrible. You can't have meetings like this because nobody knows what's going on.
Well, I have to apologize. You're right. We can't have the meetings are now open to the public, so next week people start coming in. And in the meantime, we'll have to get somebody with better technology than we have to get it working. So we'll move on with the meeting and do the best we can, talk as loud as we can.
Well, I'm quite interested in what you did with the retirees' insurance, and I have no way of knowing. Could you hear me? This is a waste of time. You may as well go on with your meeting because I can't hear words you're saying.
At the present time, do you hear me, Bob?
I can hear you, but you're quite, it's very scratchy. I can hear you, but not too well. Go ahead and finish.
Up online at the present time. Do we want to go with we're going to see if possibly we can go back to the old system and get back online. If you people
All right. See if it's any better. Just got to make sure you talk. It's a lot better.
I can hear you now, Mike.
Only if somebody talks.
Oh, okay.
Let me handle this one.
All right, Mike tried something else. Can anybody speak up to us and let us know if you can hear us?
Bob Shield said he could hear.
I can
Much
hear
better.
you.
In text.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you. It's a little scratchy, but I can hear you.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so we can't see them though.
Just visualize it.
Huh?
Up here, that's what Bob looks like. All right, let's go.
Bob's in the lower corner.
That's done. That's just
Oh, that's
close
what I'm
it.
saying.
That's it.
We can't see them. All right, how are we gonna let them?
We don't have a public comment period.
Yeah, they can, all they have to do is hear.
All right, so we're gonna get away from the public comment, try to keep up to date on what we're doing, if you can hear us. All right, we'll move on. Where do we go? We ended up,
Already read all these
all right, yeah.
abstracts.
But you gotta talk about like the resolution for, we gotta have a resolution for, are we gonna continue testing our employees for, the way we do it, or just CDL drivers? We have to let the company that does our training, our testing.
I think if you look at your insurance policy in regards to our vehicle policy, okay, for the town, I will guarantee you, almost positive, that in that thing, that they would have to be tested.
Oh, I agree with that.
Just the CDLs?
Just keep
No.
testing the way we're going.
Everybody.
Everybody.
I would agree with that. So we have time to think about it and make the decision next week.
So we're talking about just marijuana, right? Basically, for,
All the drugs, same way we're doing it now.
Okay.
We're not gonna drop, I don't, what this is all, I wouldn't drop the marijuana on, from our regular employees. I mean, that's just my feeling. That's up to the board to vote on it next week.
but we would have to make a decision now to put it in a resolution to be made for next week,
Yeah,
wouldn't we?
well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, okay.
We'll put it in a resolution so we can vote on it. The other thing I have to, Ron, that water line in the W2, where the gentleman says he hasn't used our water in 2 years or 3 years. Have you gone down there? Does he have a well?
I don't know. I went down there and made sure his water valve was off. I
Okay,
don't know if he has a well. It's not in the front yard, so I'm not sure.
Well, we have to get some kind of I think Cindy sent him a letter to
He's been asked a few times to.
send us a letter back and tell us that he doesn't have water, so.
Right, right.
I put the copy of the letter that Cindy sent to him, dated August 23rd, it's in your packets.
August 23rd, I made the suggestion that we get information about supporting his alternative water source. Have we received anything?
Ron, would you take it down, ride for us tomorrow, knock on the door, tell him he's gotta send us a letter that he doesn't use the water.
I can.
Would you do that?
I mean, worst case scenario, I can dig down at the valve and unhook it. So we totally.
Ronnie,
He's got another, looks like a trailer next door. I don't know, maybe he comes off that one and feeds his house. I'm not sure.
Aren't you looking for something in writing or?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, something in writing from him.
Any kind of proof.
Huh?
Any kind of proof that he's.
As long as he sends us a letter.
didn't he already to start the whole process? He sent us a letter. That's how we knew about it.
No,
He sent us a letter just saying that he was no longer on our system. to
Right.
adjust
Well,
his
what's the
bill.
letter we're gonna get from now gonna say?
That's what I think you guys are trying to get at,
Right.
proof that he's not.
You can't prove it in a letter.
That's what I'm saying, maybe he should give
Ron,
us
where's the shut off
a
on that?
bill.
Right out in front of his
where
house.
he had-
Well, they just said get a letter. That's not gonna work. Laura. That's what I'm saying. We already
Is there
got
one
it.
out on the edge of the road?
I didn't say you did.
It's about 5 feet in its lawn.
Okay, how many other parcels are on that property?
There's
Or
one
in
next
that
door,
area.
I think he owns, it's a trailer
He
next
owns two
door.
places. He has 2 meters or two hookups.
Two buildings?
2 hookups.
So maybe he's supplying the house through the trailer in the back.
But if you drill the well, he ought to have some paperwork of some sort, I would
There
think.
should be a casing sticking out of the
sticking out
ground.
of the ground, that's what I said.
Why can't we just ask him for a water sample and have it tested? If it's got chlorine and all this other crap in it, then he's on our water system. That's pretty simple. He's not gonna write in a letter. We're gonna believe he sends another letter that he doesn't have it. We have to take affirmative action and test the water.
I can
Simple.
stop down there tomorrow and just question him. That's fine.
Why don't we send Jeff down and let Jeff get a water sample and send it in?
Right?
Michael, where do we stand legally on that? Can we request a water sample?
Well, I think you need to verify he's either, tracing the system to identify how he's, getting water or, doing it through a sample. But, before you take any definitive action, yeah, I wanna figure out, with some type of documentary proof, what's the water supply? And so if that's something that Ron can ascertain just by a visual inspection, or if water test is needed.
So in other words, if he walks up to the gentleman and says, can I take a sample of your water? And he agrees to that, no legal problems there?
No, it's not a problem.
The problem comes in if he says, no, you can't, correct? And then we have to come out another way.
Yeah, it would require potentially getting some.
Well, there's the end of that machine.
Is he looking for a refund?
We could,
This gentleman's looking for a refund?
Yes, he is.
I think he's gonna give us permission to test his water.
I'm just trying to find the legal aspects.
Or it's
Okay.
both properties that he's.
He has 2 hookups. I don't know how his property is set up. I've never been there. But he has 2, he gets billed for 2 hookups. I believe he has, does he have
Is
a
he
garage
asking for a
and a
refund
trailer?
on both or just one?
The whole thing.
On the whole thing? Okay. I'll go down and I'll search on the trailer side if there's a shut off valve on that.
Let me make something clear. He has not paid the current bill. And I'd have to look back to see if he paid.
The other bill was $200 some.
They're 500 each.
Is that what it was? Oh, that's right, that's the other thing. Water line. That's,
The best way, Ron, take
But he wants to go back to.
Jeff with you, take a water sample. If he allows it, then
It's
it's
real
got
simple.
chlorine and he's getting water.
Shut the water off to the trailer,
Yeah.
go over to the house,
Yeah,
and if he's still got water,
yeah.
then he's tied back in someplace else, or the gentleman has put a well in.
Yeah, it's like a search for that.
If you shut the trailer off
Trailer.
and his house shuts off, then he's feeding from the trailer to his house.
It's illegal to have two lines tied together. If he has a well, it better not be tied into town
I'm
line.
not disagreeing
That's
with
a
you.
huge violation. That's called a, what is it called? It's a cross connect. They're illegal.
Yep.
All right, Ron, jump on that for us. Let's see if we can settle this.
You weren't here earlier. Glenn brought up a situation. I just want to touch base with you over, Ponderosa. That water situation where we've got 2 meters going on. One going through 1 meter, going to another. We gotta figure out how to separate.
We'll have to do a new tap for the red house.
Is that necessary, or can you, where the tap comes off the meter feeding the house and put it in before that other meter?
I'll have to do another new tap and separate them totally.
Well,
Is it-
you wouldn't separate,
It's
you
the
would
same
be
owner.
separating.
Same owner?
Here's the main, here's the meter going to the trailer court. Right now,
Where it's tied in is in further from the main.
that's what I'm saying.
So you can,
So why can't you take it, the line going to the house and put it on this side?
Why can't we just cut out the meter going to the house? It's the same owner. And keep it
It's a
simple.
different tax
because
bill.
it's separated, right?
They're on different parcels.
Different
Each
parcels.
parcel is supposed to have its
Two
own.
separate parcels.
But I agree, if the guy's gonna own it and
But
it's
you
all
might
good.
not have the room.
Yeah, down the road, you
They're
can
two
sell.
separate parcels, and I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you read the water regs, each parcel has to have its own, I believe. That's your plan.
Well, it makes sense to do it that way.
But I think that's,
And like you said, the cells, you never have that. So separate them and be done with them.
I'm pretty sure there's.
That's the
something
right
in
way,
there for-
especially being a separate person.
Yeah, just let me do a new tab and we'll get it separated totally, not have to worry about
Is the main on, which side is the main on? Is the main on this side?
Yeah, I think our water department should be able to take
Mike,
care of it.
you're all right with that? Let him put another tap in?
I would just, we talked about it so many times. We just need to get things done. You know what I mean? We really-
We just delay it.
Yeah.
Let's put the tap in. All right?
You wanna put that on a resolution for a vote for next week? then,
Right.
please?
That's what we're talking about.
We need a resolution for that?
No, not a resolution.
Resolution? Maybe, if-
You don't need a resolution. just-
I don't think we do. I mean, that's just his job as water keeper, right?
How about the Pine Hill column? You did all the paperwork on that?
You guys had that previously from the attorney, but I also recopied it all for you. It did get put on the agenda the last time. Resolution is attached to the front of the contract.
Yeah, it's.
Have you ever heard anything back from them, Mike?
Yeah, I've gotten some feedback and they have a couple of comments and questions and stuff that I think for the most part, if the town board is in general agreement of going in this direction, some of the details of the lease will continue to get fleshed out, but as long as there's an agreement in principle, which from the association there is. And so if there's an agreement, again, kind of in principle with the direction from the town board, then we can fine tune the language in the lease and finalize.
Can we do that by next meeting?
We can at least, if we can the very least, get the resolution and move it forward, and we can work out the lease language. I don't know if we can hammer out all the.
All right. So I'm asking, is it all right for us to go ahead and move forward with this? We'll take care of the hammering out of the other parts of it, because if you don't do it, we don't get now and approve it next Monday, it'll be another month.
Right. What I would suggest again is that we have the resolution to move forward. And again, kind of the agreement in principle.
Pending on.
Right, and then we would still have the opportunity to work out
Details.
the specific language in the terms.
So you'll write that resolution.
Yep,
Thank you.
I'll have that for next week.
that'll be on next week.
All right, that sounds good. All right.
Not exactly. Right.
Can I say something in
Go ahead.
regard to my resignation?
Yes.
To the planning?
Gotta get to that.
On the planning board, one of the members, Tony Springer, has offered to do the minutes, just so you know. But the zoning board, I don't know who that would be. She can't do both boards because of other obligations. But I just want to put that out there that she is willing to do that for the planning board. And this zoning board meeting is my last meeting.
I would like to say something about that. We've been tossing around the idea, I've spoken to Councilman Niles about the fact that you are looking for a part-time or for a deputy zoning officer. And right now, it's my responsibility to do both the planning board and the zoning board meetings. And I thought it might be an idea to have the deputy, whoever that ends up being, be the person that takes the minutes of both of those meetings and make it part of their responsibility and part of the salary that they get. Now, the only thing that I've thought of since I talked to Councilman Niles about this is that I'm salaried. So I do those meetings. I don't get paid extra to do any of the meetings that I do. And I don't know whether it's your plan to pay this deputy salary or hourly. And if it's hourly, some meetings, as we know, are half an hour. Some meetings are 3 hours. And so you've got, if you're gonna pay them hourly, if you agree to make it part of their duty to be the clerk secretary to those boards, that it's gonna fluctuate how much money that you end up paying that person, if that comes to be, unless their salary, and then it would be the same as what I'm doing, you just show up regardless of the time, and it's part of your salary, you don't get any extra money for doing those meetings. I was just trying to figure a way to make it easy, not cost the town any extra money to pay someone to be the secretary or the clerk. So that's what the discussion has been, and I wanted to bring that to your attention.
I like that idea because it helps train the new person.
Agreed.
Yeah, the part I'm worried about is we don't have anybody in mind yet.
I agree with that too. I know from when I have done the minutes of those meetings, if Lori's not been able to attend, I've tried to do the minutes for her, but I don't transcribe them. I simply take the notes and give her the notes along with the tape that we do, and then she transcribes from that. I've never actually sat and transcribed the minutes for those meetings, but I know that it's very difficult for me, and I would think it would be the same for any member of those boards, to pay attention to what's going on, what's being said by the applicants or the other board members or whatever is coming up.
I can tell you it is just from doing this.
Yeah.
When I do this,
And to pay
half my
and
attention
get
is
it all
spent
done.
on this.
I know I'm forever saying, please wait, give me a minute,
Yeah.
let me catch up,
Right.
you know, so it's not an easy thing to do and to try to be in and run part of those meetings.
We may be looking at a temporary situation until we find permanent deputy.
Mhm.
You know, we may have to find somebody for a couple meetings to take the notes until we find them.
Well, I know that Tony has done it for the planning board. She's actually transcribed it, correct?
Yes, she did a wonderful
She did a
job.
good job, and I know that one time Burgess Summit did it for the zoning board, and I believe he did the same thing. He transcribed it and gave it to you, correct? Yes.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, once we get this system, all the bugs worked out of it, you can do it the next day. You can sit right there and watch the meeting. You can go on YouTube. You can do whatever you need to do. So we're not up against the wall with having to just bring anybody on board. We need to get this fixed, which
Yeah.
we will. I don't mean that negatively towards you guys the first time we fired it up.
Well, you
But-
have to have somebody present to do the minutes. You can't just have them look at that the next day. Is that what you meant?
Oh, you can't. Is it
No,
legal?
You
even?
have to have a secretary present
Oh, I understand.
or somebody taking minutes.
Okay.
Well, it says that in the ordinance that there shall be a secretary.
Yes.
Or a clerk.
Okay.
Burgess is a full-time member now.
Thought it sounded
He was the alternate when he took.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't
Listed it as
spoken
a
to
thing.
him about it because we were, again, tossing around the idea of who to get, what to do, you know.
Can it actually be
Because-
somebody that's on the board? Can they do the dual title or
Well-
duty according to your book?
That's,
We've done it that way. I
Yeah.
just don't know how easy it is to pay attention to what is actually going on at the meeting and take the minutes at the same time. That's my concern.
Mhm.
I know that like I said, you've been there, you've seen me, I
Yeah.
say, hold on, give me a minute, catch up,
Mhm.
et cetera, but
So we will have this as a safety net though, right?
yes, it's much better since we've got the CD, but still you have to, take the minute, you have to be there.
You have to be there to actually physically take minutes. You
Right.
can't just go from that.
going off on a tangent here. Are we being proactive to fill that position? The deputy zoning officer, have we done it?
Signs all over town, we're looking for help. We have it on the internet.
We told people that have asked what positions are available.
People have called.
It's a kind of a special skill set we're looking for. I don't know that a sign out on Main Street is gonna find us that person.
But if you could at least find somebody trainable.
Would there be anybody at the county, Karen, that could tell us like a planning publication or a zoning officer's publication?
Well, there's a county planning department, but they,
Someplace to publicize that we have the position besides the newspaper that never gets us.
there used to be, the county used to have an organization where we had a group of zoning and planning people meet, but that is no longer in existence since the last person that worked at the county left and they replaced her and they've not done that committee again. I don't know of anywhere else to put it out there, Jen. There's no association of. And someone coming into that position wouldn't be a member of an association anyway. I don't,
Well, I'm
I
thinking we might have
personally don't even know where to look. That's,
I'm thinking they might have a publication or something that we can
No.
put it in. Do you know the county planner? I don't.
his first name is, well, there's a planning department. Wayne Lamoth is the head of it. You could possibly speak with him. There's the person that took Chris Belden's place, who was the gentleman that got the group of us together every other month, every third month, we would meet as a group. He left and went to the Champlain Association that he's overall with Champlain.
Could you contact them, Jane?
I can ask, everybody's looking for help. No matter where you
Yeah, we
go,
can't give up.
the signs are all over the place.
We have to find something.
I just don't understand why people don't want to come to work.
Well, I have thought, I don't know of anyone. I've thought about it, tried to think of someone that I knew. I've had some ideas, but nothing works out. So I don't.
Well, I can tell you, if we don't do
how to
anything, we
guide
won't get anyone. I think you can count on that. Okay. I'll call the county planner tomorrow. Yeah. No, I'm looking for a publication that they may subscribe to, we can advertise.
Then you have to go on paper.
Yeah, well, this paper doesn't work for this kind of stuff. See ads in there all the time.
All right. So you want a temporary, or do you want to not fill that until no?
Well, I was talking more about the permanent position.
Right, but in terms of the secretary.
It's, I kind of agree with Karen that a board member should be concentrating on the meeting, not concentrating on the minutes. But the experience with Tony contradicts that. She's doing a good job and playing.
For somebody that's never done minutes, she did a wonderful job.
And Burgess did a good job when he did his own
Yeah.
work.
So like I said, at that point, he was only an alternate. He wasn't even voting that night, so he didn't
That's true.
have to pay super
That's
for
true.
attention. But that might be the
That's
best.
Julian's question, or asked the question. We're looking for a full-time, 2-night employee. For that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of the issue of that, Paul, is that, all right, I show up here at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock meeting.
Right.
Okay, and I'm here until it's done. Sometimes you're done at 7:30, sometimes you're done at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
So you don't know how, how do you pay them? Do you pay them hourly? Do you pay them by?
You can't pay them hourly, because that's what we talked about for
Yeah.
because you can't, sometimes they're canceled. But they waited that whole day to come to work and didn't do anything else and didn't go to work anywhere else. You can't pay them for 5 minutes. That's not fair. You won't get anybody.
Months, there's not a meeting.
Right, that's what I just said, yeah. It's, if you want somebody on call, you gotta pay them accordingly. You really do, or it's not fair.
And we're basically talking 2 nights a month, right?
Correct.
Why don't we ask Matt if he thinks anybody can do minutes if we get the pitch?
Okay.
And
And if we have to give them a stipend, I think we can come up with something, just like we talked about the Zoom here. We're talking about $50 or $60 for the night, not by the hour. We're looking at 3 hours, $20 an hour, $60. This way, if it's 2 hours, they still get the 60.
Sure.
You gotta do
We
it.
gotta keep our boards functioning. That's how we move forward. That's progress, right? If we can't get somebody to take notes, then
There's
we're
no
in
more
trouble.
volunteers anymore. It's hard to get them.
Let's go on.
All right. Oh, the American Rescue, I gave you guys just
We skipped a bunch, Gene.
what's that?
We, water operators to train, Niles.
Oh, that's Ron, Ron, these guys haven't been going there during the day?
It's been pretty active weather, so no. I did have Jamie go down last week. And he went this weekend. And he's gonna do a couple days this week, and then he's gonna be able to do weekends to give this guy a break.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it.
All right? What do you wanna do with,
Well, now that, I'm not picking on you, so, now that the season hopefully is coming to an end, and now we're not
Hopefully.
plowing every day. Why can't one guy go one day, another guy go another day, so you can get 40 days?
we can, but do we wanna accelerate one guy and get him done and trained, and then bring the next guy
Yeah,
in?
that's a good idea, right?
And that's an idea to bring him.
All right,
We gotta get one guy across the finish line.
so let's do that.
Well, that's up to you, you
The
gotta
better-
control
the
when
better-
you go here, not us.
With better weather coming, I'll let him go during the week. He's gonna go during the weekend.
Right.
What are we gonna do for pay?
Why is he going on the weekend? I guess.
Because he's available and he needs contact hours.
And he's not available during the week.
I'm gonna do it during his regular hours during the week.
Right.
When Jeff's there, I'm gonna let him go. We don't have anybody where we gotta go out and trouble.
How many hours do they need so we know what we're talking?
I'm not sure exactly.
It's also within a certain time frame too. It can't be, it's not,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying for everybody, but it's, you
So
gotta
I'm
have
gonna
it.
try and let him go as much as I can, but he can do weekends after this week.
Can you find out between now and the next meeting how many hours he has to have?
In what time frame?
In what time frame, please?
Yes. I can't, but right now, we want to give him as much as we can. He's available, well, he's gonna do weekends to give this guy a break, so you gotta pay him something.
If you wanna pay him time and a half when he works on the weekend, that's.
Whatever,
I agree with Ron, though. You try to get three guys accredited at the same time, it's gonna lengthen the process by
Yeah.
3 times. You get one guy done,
We can give him as much as we can during the week.
Yep.
If he has to go 1 or 2 days during the weekend, then he'll have to put it down for time.
well, do you want him to do weekends so he can give Jeff a break?
The point is not what I want, the point is what has to be done.
can he do weekends by himself now, Ron, or does he still have to be with Jeff?
After this week, he can be by himself.
Because Jeff's been working 7 days a week since we brought him on.
Yeah. You know, so.
Let's find out everything around it, Ron, before we make any decisions. And by not saying that, but I think we should know what we're dealing with. If he can work by himself, if he can't.
He can. After this week, Jamie can do it by himself.
What happened this week that allows him to do that? Is a certain amount of hours that he's already put in, or?
Not to do just the testing. He just needs contact hours to be with Jeff for I think it's a year.
Right. Well, you said after this week, he can be by himself. What happened? What threshold did he cross this week that allows him to be by himself?
Jeff showed him everything he needs to do, and Jeff's confident on him doing it.
There's still got to be something in writing that says whether he can or he can't, right? Let's find out. That way we're not.
Department of Health, because you're way off base on that. Call the Department of Health. They'll tell you exactly what you have to do.
Well, he's been in contact with Maria, so he's getting this stuff from Maria
Okay.
and Department of Health.
So can we get it for next week?
Yes.
All right, good.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of, he's willing to do weekends, but whatever you want to pay him. So
Well, if we have to.
if it's gonna be time and a half out of the law department, then it is.
And you gotta give him as many days during the week to get his hours in.
Yep.
I know.
We need to talk about that one. I'll take a second. I need to talk about this one.
Jeff is there how often beside testing every day? Ron,
I'm sorry.
is he putting in 40 hours a week, Jeff, right now?
I'm not sure, but I think,
Is he there
he's there 6 hours a day, every day.
6 hours a day?
I believe it's 6. Could be more.
Monday through Sunday?
He hasn't had a day off in like 80 days or something like that.
No? Your men, how many days have they had off in the last 80 days? With the storms and everything. I would.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
These interviews, we set that up already.
6:30. The planning and zoning people.
Before our regular meeting. Somebody gonna notify those people.
Okay.
All right, ready? All right, we were on the resolution for the American Rescue Act, the money that we get from the state. I just put some numbers together. This is only just to get an idea. You guys want to change anything you want? I got no problem with it. And you got it on the list. One of them, Colleen's gonna work on how many hours employees got paid during COVID. When they were out sick, they got paid. Money can come out of that fund to replenish our fund for the money, but she has to get the numbers. So I don't have a number there. I want to set aside some money for the EMS vehicle, because eventually we're gonna need one. And I think, I put down 25,000, it could be 40.
Is that considered infrastructure, Gene?
Yeah, that's
Good,
great.
good,
Go for that. Yeah. I wanted to set aside, now I got here, water purification. Now that plant we have there is, it's 25 years. Jeff has some ideas that he spoke to me on. He wants to make some changes. So that can go, we can put 25,000 towards that and use it as he needed. I also added another 50,000 for paving out of that money, other than the CHIPS money. But my thought was, is there some roads that don't need a lot of work on them that we can bid it out to the private sector to do it? Because it's just so much you can do every month, every year. And if we have some roads that need just maybe a surface, type, put it out for bid, and let's see what the bids are.
Yeah, we have to try it.
Huh?
We can try it.
I'd like to do
They're gonna
that.
be,
Yeah.
I can tell you, they're gonna be 30,000 more than from, us doing it.
I know, but we're not catching up. You got enough,
Yeah.
there's enough on your plate. Enough.
Right.
So we'll try a couple of them, we'll see, get a price and see what it looks like. Pick a couple of roads, and I had somebody call me the other day, lake tours, any plans on lake tour?
I was gonna try and get to do some next year on that.
Next year, not this year? Next year. I have to give them an answer.
I'll call them back.
But anyway, what was the other one here? We need money for the comprehensive plan. I put 75,000 in here. And another 50,000 to help the lakes in case we can't settle any problems. There's a part of the general code. I haven't gotten into that yet. And another idea, which I've been reading a lot about, is a couple of electrical stations here in our parking lot. They'll charge cars, put 20,000. So, just read it. Don't have to be exactly what I decided. I didn't decide. I just tried to get a package together.
What's the deadline on this? So it has to be spent or allocated,
Okay.
spent or allocated?
It has to be allocated by April. Okay. You actually have until the 2024 to spend it all. Okay, that's so.
When in April?
Huh?
When in April?
It's
It's only 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
I thought it was March 30th or the end of March.
It was March 30th, and they just extended the date.
Okay. So once we allocate it, Gene, is it amendable or is
Yeah,
that set?
you can change it. I was at the other one with the county last week. You can put it there and say you put the 50,000 to maintain lakes. You can use it, take it as long as you use it, but they want a general idea of what you want to use.
Okay.
So these are just a couple of things we have to look into that, so.
What is the total amount?
365.
360,000.
365.
365, we got half of it now. So we could start using it if we need it.
Gene, when you say COVID money, is that money that we paid when people were like out sick and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. So I thought,
Reimburse your town.
yeah. Is 100% on that or is 100% reimbursement on that? Yeah.
Now, Colleen's got the record. She just said, I asked her, she hasn't had time to sit down and figure it all out, but she'll give me a number. Did we talk about Jack Fazio?
Yes, we just need a resolution.
Okay, so
Well, we need to find somebody to replace them then quickly and get them appointed so they can
But we
get.
need the resolution by April the 11th, so we have to do it the next one. So that'll be on.
Well, you just need to do it by April 11th.
Right.
You don't have to do anything next week unless you find somebody. Then we can, right? We'll have to appoint if we find somebody before.
No, I'm not talking about point. No, so we're taking them off that.
Can it be anybody that's currently on any of our boards or does it have to be somebody totally independent?
Be on other boards.
Yeah, they can, because John Frinsky is.
Jack Fazio was on.
Jack
both
was,
the
Yeah,
planning
okay,
board.
yeah, that's right.
It's 1 day a year, right?
Yes.
So we can ask, that's or
I can
Thursday
ask
night,
him,
see if
so
somebody
he-
wants to do it.
yeah.
There's training on April 20th for that, and it's a virtual training, I believe Melissa said.
I could put out an email tomorrow to both boards, all
That's
the
good.
members on both boards, and tell them to contact Melissa. If you're interested, or do you want them to contact?
Let them contact Melissa. It's easier so she finds out and gets it done. And there is a pay to that. I think it's $100.
It's $100 for the day.
$100 for the day. So
Okay.
let them know that.
I'll put it out to both board members and see if anybody wants to volunteer from there.
And also this doesn't need a resolution. Tom Reed wants to get on the agenda. And watch. And Lori wants to resign, but we're not gonna do it.
Nope.
And I had a nice talk with Jamie, like we said earlier. It's easier with one person, and we're gonna have Lori do it. So if we have anything that has to go on the internet, instead of going from Mike to his daughter or something like that, we'll just give it to Lori, and she's been putting a couple of stuff up there. And we already talked about, this is a part of bed tax money, this ambassador program. We've had it for 5 years now, really, but we're not like to use it. And my last comment on here, we're gonna send out letters to everybody that got bed tax money. We do that every year. And if they want bed tax this year, and they apply for how much they want, they have to have a sheet of paper on everything they spent last year's bed tax. We don't need the bills, because they have to keep on file. It's just a sheet of paper that they spend it on advertising for this or that. This way, you know, we'll see what they spend it on and what they're using it for. All right?
So this, Sue, will be appointing her to your position?
Yeah, that's it. She's on that too, yeah. She got, I like to reappoint her.
So that's a resolution.
And they do a good job, and it's good for our town. Gets people into our, especially historical buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, Sue does a great job.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing? Tom Reed had asked to speak at the town board meeting on the 14th. Yes. And previously, when you had agreed to have him come to the other meeting that got canceled because the public wasn't allowed into the building at the time, I had sent out letters to all of the property owners that were in the proposal to amend the Adirondack Park Agency map that he was going to present, so that they would be aware of what was going on, because it might affect their properties. Then the meeting got canceled, and I got calls from a couple people. I had someone actually come into my office and talk to me about it. Now, Mr. Reed is going to change, I'm understanding, his idea of what he would like the town to do. It's not going to be a map amendment. It's going to be, I believe, a revision of the previous application that you submitted in 2019. I don't have enough time to notify the property owners that would involve. I don't have the list made up. Before, I had made up a list. Now, because it's changing, I don't personally have a list made up. I don't have time to get a letter into the mail and to these people before Monday's meeting. So I don't know what the best way to notify these property owners are that they might want to listen to his presentation, because whatever it is may be affecting their property as far as the Adirondack Park Agency is concerned. Again, this is all Adirondack Park Agency stuff. It is, that part of what he's proposing is not town zoning. It is simply Adirondack Park Agency stuff, but I don't know how to go about and notify these people that quickly that this is happening. A week is not enough time.
You might want, if there's a lot of interest, you might want to just make that a special meeting.
Yeah,
unto
that's
itself.
what I was just gonna say. We still have to have a public hearing on it, one way or the other. before
Well,
you-
at least a public meeting
Or a public meeting.
before you make a decision, but certainly, I guess he can make whatever presentation he wants to make to the board at next week's
Did you say it was
meeting, but
5 minutes? You don't want it 5
he,
minutes?
that's what he put in the letter, in the email to Cindy, that he needed 5 minutes. But I,
think we should do it all at once. I do, if it's gonna
well,
affect all these
if you
people.
have, if he makes this presentation, then maybe, I don't want to tell you what to do, but my opinion is that, as the attorney said, from that meeting, maybe you want to set a special meeting to invite the public to come in and listen to whatever it is that he's proposing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if we do it, no sense of doing it next week though, right?
That's up to
Because then he's gonna have to
you
do
guys.
it again and then people ask questions. I mean, it's just redundant.
He's supposed to be meeting with myself, Jim Niles, and Jean Marino tomorrow to give us an idea of what he's talking about, because he's changed whatever it is he's doing. So, you know, I'm at a loss as to what to say and what to do, but my concern is letting the public know, because I know from before, there was a lot of feedback from the public. Nobody knew what was going on. It was getting confused in zoning matters, and it wasn't zoning matters, it was strictly APA matters. And that's what my concern is.
Well, like I say, nothing can be done until you have some kind of public meeting. So he can't get it done by this coming Monday, because we can't notify people that quick, but we'll find out.
Why don't we put Tom on to the April meeting?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, and then we might have to do that.
Or next Monday, you can set a special meeting to have them present.
Right.
And to give the notice to the joining landowners.
Okay.
You could do that as well.
And does it have to be a public hearing, or can it just be a special meeting for his presentation?
I think it doesn't have to be a public hearing. There's not it's not a local law where you have to open up the floor to comment. But it sounds like what they're asking the board to do may require some sort of action by the board that could then lead to a public hearing. And so I think what you're kind of suggesting is get everybody together at one point in time, flush out all the issues more or less at once, rather than kind of piecemeal it along, where you're constantly reiterating the same information, same questions. So, you know, there isn't anything that so far that's been put before the town that requires a public hearing. But having a special meeting that have public comment to discuss whatever Mr. Reed is looking to do might be the best way to get everything out in the open.
Karen, does the APA have to have a public hearing on this issue?
The map amendment, I'm told they would not, they don't have to have a public hearing. They could choose to, but they don't have to. But if you do it as an amendment to that previous application, I believe they have to have a public hearing. But again, it's APA's rules and regulations. I don't know what they are. I'm assuming they would, because they did for the previous one. I'm assuming that they would have a public hearing period of time as they did before.
So our role, if any, might be to send a recommendation or to send.
You would be the applicant for this.
Okay.
The town, he is asking for the town to be the applicant for this.
So public hearing, if we're required or not to have a public hearing, we want the public input either way.
Right, which is why we do this
Well,
public.
this is the same thing he asked us 2 years ago, and we went ahead,
With some changes apparently.
you know.
Again, he's going to tell us tomorrow.
That we
Right.
allowed the APA to make it.
Right.
I just want to avoid that problem.
Yeah.
This time.
So tomorrow we'll see if we can push it off.
See what he's got to say.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to us if we want him to push it off or not.
Yeah.
Then not him.
Yeah.
I think that's the last of it.
Attorney Kroll, I've got one stupid little thing. First page down near the bottom. Resolution for Niles to be coordinator of the comprehensive plan. That should be liaison,
Liaison.
town board
Right,
liaison.
Yeah, that should be the liaison, and once you get it together, you'll
Yeah,
get somebody to run it.
right, I'll be active, okay, but I'm definitely not gonna be the coordinator of the development of a new town master plan.
Right. And be the liaison.
Liaison.
Right.
That's the word.
And I'm working on it already. And water task force committee, that doesn't exist that I know of. It was talked about, but it never was set up. You agree?
We had a water committee, but I don't know what task force means. What's task force mean?
I think we just called, I just called it
Well,
that.
what we.
Danny and I were on the water committee last year, but just on a high 10,000 foot
Are we
level,
talking water system or the lakes?
water system.
Okay,
This is,
You're talking about the lake.
this is lakes.
this is lakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What we did is we made Tracy our combination grant writer, lake management person,
So you want me to change that wording?
who I think water task force committee should just be crossed off on that resolution.
Didn't I see something in the email that sometime in July or August, and
There was talk about setting up a lakes committee, okay? But I'm pretty sure what we did instead of that is,
Who made her the manager, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a couple of emails and I have them, Cindy gave them to me, of folks that were wondering what's going on with that.
all right, anything else?
Do we want to put it on the agenda to?
I just had one more. all right, go ahead.
I thought you were done, sorry.
No, I just had one more thing. What are we gonna do about Dave O'Neill's position? Are we going?
That's what I was just gonna talk about. I think we want it on the agenda that
All right,
we'll,
that's what we gotta put on next week. I just wondering if you wanna put out like we did last year, people sending resumes.
I don't, but it's not up to me.
That's up to
We
you.
have an endorsed candidate through our Republican committee and it's a Republican seat. But so we're good with appointing our candidate.
we'll put it on the agenda.
So you're not gonna have anybody in the town that. might
I didn't say we're
be-
not. You asked me if I wanted to. I don't.
You don't, that's what you're saying.
Right.
You?
So you guys don't want to put that out? like,
Well,
all the
it
other-
should be on the agenda that we're gonna appoint.
Correct.
That's me.
Got one last thing too, we were discussing, investigation of the, home grounds. That sent out a couple of feelers to attorneys that, we're talking about, with, investigating a hostile work environment claim. And, got back one attorney who said that he couldn't, time restraints. Another I didn't hear from, and another one from Jeff Honeywell, who is available to do it. He could do it essentially within the next few weeks. His rate would be $2.50 an hour. He's got about 35 years of experience in this. Seen his name on other files that I've done. This type of thing. Based on the responses, I guess, you know, I'm more than comfortable with recommending Jeff to do that. There are other options, but I would say the options that can do it at that timeframe, you're looking at closer towards nearing the double the rate, so 400 to 500 an hour to do the type of investigation. So my recommendation would be at least getting a proposal from Jeff Honeywell and going from there with his investigation. So again, that's something that I would just recommend as a possible addition to the agenda for next week.
Do we need a resolution for that?
We would need a resolution to accept his,
Accept the proposal. Or is it not a proposal?
Yeah, we haven't seen it. We don't have one, right?
Yeah, we don't have
get
to
a
ask him.
proposal and then we could vote on it.
Right, I'd ask them to send in an engagement letter. And then, you know, similar to the other ones that based on the terms that he's offering, if that's something that the board is comfortable with, then authorizing Gene to move forward and sign, engage him. But I'll be able to get a letter from him for next week.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
That's
No, it's already covered.
I see Dominic has returned. Do you have something else?
Oh, I just wanted to speak to the,
Oh, okay.
Luzerne.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the time that everybody gave me today. Yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you to everybody on the board for the time that you gave me today. And, answering any questions that everybody had. But yeah, I don't want to talk during the meeting, of course, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And one more thing is just be wary of who you take your advice from, because some people have no idea what they're talking about.
Got to bury everything. You can't labor it today. All right. Mike, you have anything?
I don't, thank you.
Well, we can't take this.
I just got one thing.
I'm a taxpayer, you let him speak? You let him speak and I'm a taxpayer and I can't speak? How's that fair? You just said it, come on. I pay taxes, I pay your wage.
There's going to be a public comment period.
Yeah, but he just got a public comment.
Right, I understand.
He was invited by the board as a potential contract.
Yes. Our roadside mower went into shop for a new clutch. Well, prices soared through the roof, and it's 10 grand for that new clutch on this mower. I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention, so you know when you see the bill. It's gonna be coming out of my equipment fund to repair that. Needed repaired, and it's something we cannot do in-house, so just wanted to let you know.
How'd that pop up, Ron? We didn't know that last year when you were mowing, or no?
Of what?
The roadside mower?
It went in before winter.
Okay. I was just gonna say, you were out there mowing, were you?
It went in before winter, and I just got the bill the other day, so I must have finished it, so.
So it's already done.
Yeah,
They didn't let you know what was, before they fixed it? They didn't let you know what was going on with it?
no, they never called or anything. I mean, I knew it needed clutches.
Sure.
It's a really in-depth thing to, split the whole tractor right in half. So it was mostly labor, so.
Are we gonna open it to the public? So,
No, that's it. That's your regular.
okay, so that'll be next one.
Have a motion to adjourn.
All right. And I apologize to people out there that couldn't hear us or see us, and I have one other thing too, I did bring up at the last meeting, and I really have to say, I really made a mistake. We were talking about garbage, and I came up with a number that I was given, and it was for this year. It was for 6 weeks this year, when I said 50,000, it just didn't hit me, but the real number is 897,000 tons of garbage goes through the landfill. So the calculating of what the burn plan, probably about another 23,000.
Yeah, it's not that much. It's not that's almost 1 million tons. It's
That's a lot
not.
of- That's a lot of garbage. All right,
So that means we stay the way we are.
yeah, unless, I
You know what,
for
Jim?
the safety, I'd like to spend the extra money, but.
But you know what, Gene?
No, I called the plant twice, left a message, so can you come down with a different number, now that he's got a different number from here, and I haven't heard back.
And I'm not crapping on our drivers. I know it's a hard job, but part of a driver's responsibility, they call it goal, get out and look. You know what I mean? If you're running over stuff in the road, I know it's hard if you're seeing wires and stuff, but it's part of their responsibility as a driver. God forbid it's a person, you know what I mean? I'm not crapping on Jake or any of them. They're all good guys. I like them.
Well, I
But
agree.
it's their duty to make sure that road is clear before they drive that truck down.
Well, the whole thing is that what happened to wrapping that wire around, it almost got the brake line to flip.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would have hit that on the way home, if it had no brakes, so
Mhm.
that's the reason why I was uncomfortable with it, which I still am. So, nothing else?
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.